Welcome back to the Last Word podcast. As always, I'm Jay.
And I'm Rabbit.
And thank you for joining us again this week.
Oh my god.
That's how this podcast is going to go.
Exactly. Now we're trying to scrape this together, so please be patient with us.
Please be patient. We got dogs barking, we got people, we got the air conditioner flowing because it's already fucking 90 degrees.
We have more than one dog?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Or more. And so that's just the disclaimer or whatever, but that's what we're doing. It's fucking punk rock, baby. Get used to it. As always, before we get started, thank you and a reminder to like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that shit, please. If you're listening to it, take the time, move your fingers. Just do that for us. It helps us out a lot. It helps us out a lot, and it's nice. Thank you for doing so. Oh my god,
this is going so well.
Thank you for doing so. Questions, comments, lastwordapparel at
concerns?
gmail.com. No concerns. I don't care.
Oh, all right.
Concerns.
The hundreds of concerns that we've gotten so far.
Yeah, concerns are not in this episode because we're already off to a rough start. So I don't need concerns. Thank you. Yeah, so thank you. And here we are, another week. We are, as you said, scraping this together.
We are literally we're going to record this the day before. We are somehow going to edit it before tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And actually, we have to start uploading it tonight. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how this is going to go.
It's going to go like you said. It's possible. And in some way, it makes sense to record the day before because it's the latest, right? Mm-hmm. So if we actually set time aside to do that, maybe it wouldn't be so weird. But we didn't. So
but we didn't this week. We've been a little
setting things in. Yeah.
Been a little preoccupied.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say why I've been preoccupied.
I had to go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
It was crazy.
Before, I know everyone's so worried. All of my followers.
Everyone gasps.
My fans are so worried right now. How could this happen to the gracious, the grateful, the amazing Jay? We hang on his every word. No.
Huh? No, that's not. Don't do that.
Don't do what?
I'm telling the people to not do that. He's not that great, people.
I
love him and all, but he's not great.
Well.
Not that great.
If anyone knows,
no.
It's going to be her.
But no, so you did end up having to go to the emergency.
I did end up having to go to the emergency room. We're going to leave that in because fuck it.
Anyways, so yeah, you had to go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
But what happened and how it started brought up a really interesting conversation for us that we've had previously. But it's like, we should talk about it on here. So we were on the couch, we were just lounging, hanging out. It was later in the evening.
Can I say this is my story?
Hold on, I'm gonna introduce it.
Okay.
So we were like on the couch, whatever, cuddling and all that, and I'm holding your hand, and I was like grabbing like your ring finger, and I was like, oh god, like babe, that's a little swollen. He would like, and you kind of like turn your finger over, you're looking at it, and you're like, oh yeah, oh my hand kind of hurts too, and I was like, what? Why? And that's what started it. Like, that's the...
Right. I guess it's my turn now.
That's the beginning.
Yeah, my finger was swollen. You were right when you said that. And my hand did hurt. I don't know why. But that's when I also told you, I was like, yeah, well, I haven't been able to take my wedding ring off for, like, a year and a half now. Like, it just
he
does
never
not come
told
off.
me.
It barely moves and it doesn't come off. Which you just found out about then. Mm-hmm. And, I was like, well, we got to try and get it off, no big deal. And then, later that night...
This happens all the time.
We can get it off.
We should be able to do this.
So later that night, before bed, we tried to get it off. I first just tried on my own using soap.
Just
and
soapy water.
Would not come off. It would not get past that first knuckle at all. And then, so I called you. I was like, it's not coming off. Then what? We used oil.
Lotion?
We used lotion. We used oil.
Like a bath oil.
Mm-hmm. We used
Windex. Your mom suggested this a while ago. Mm-hmm. She was talking about it, that somehow Windex is it's gonna help get a ring off. And I was like, I don't understand how if bath oil is not making it budge. Like, it's moving, and it's moving quite a bit, but it's not coming off. I don't understand how Windex...
Windex was actually really nice. It was real slippery. It was better than the oil.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, but I just couldn't understand it, and it didn't end up working.
Nothing worked.
No.
I guess is the point.
So after we tried all of the lubricants,
and believe me, we have a lot of lubricants in this house.
Gross. No, we don't.
We got the warming. We got the
my God.
cooling. We got the one that tastes like strawberries. We got...
Where are you hiding all this stuff? I had no idea about this.
She's lying.
No.
You know she's a hoe.
No. Anyway, so we tried all these other things, and then I was like, okay, I saw this like hack or something on like Pinterest or Facebook or whatever of how to get rings off. So I'm like, okay, let's try dental floss. And the point of the dental floss is to, and we did it wrong, first of all.
You did it wrong.
We did it totally wrong.
You did it wrong.
We.
Don't bring me into this. I am the victim. I'm the one who needed the help.
No.
And you're like, we're going to get this dental floss, and all we have to do is wrap it around your finger, and we just need to bring it down. Like, essentially, like, bring the swelling down with force of the dental floss.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah,
take
okay,
off the
so...
ring.
Yeah, so I fed it under, like, and your
Lies.
finger was so swollen. I mean, we couldn't even get the dental floss in the right place. So I had to feed it through the top. And then I started wrapping it around, but I just couldn't, like, get it. Like, it wasn't flattening out enough, but I was like, oh, this is okay. And I tried to just pull it off. Like, I was trying to pull your
That was
ring.
the theory, that somehow if we brought down the swelling with the dental floss, you could just like,
yeah, we could
it would be
the ring
small
off.
enough you could slide the ring off, which really doesn't make sense, and it didn't make sense, and it didn't work.
No, so every time we tried to do it twice we were just like in the bathroom, and we tried to do it like that a couple of times. It did not budge at all, and the more and more we tried, the worse your finger got.
Getting so swollen.
Just about with every method we tried, like the soap did a little more damage, the lotion, the oil, each did a little more damage each time we tried it, but the dental floss really like fucked your finger up.
Yeah.
So we tried that, we fucked up. I was like laying there, like we were gonna like fine, fuck it, let's go to bed. And I decided to look up a YouTube video of it, and it was totally different than what I was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was not the same hack that I originally saw. And I was like showing it to you, and I'm like, we should try this, but how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, the correct way.
Yeah. So we got up, because we were like ready for bed. We were in bed. We got up, came to the kitchen table, all of our little supplies. Like I had a little like needle nose like tweezer, and we had tape. We had like a whole like thing of dental floss. Like we're ready to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, like I cut the dental floss too small. Like it needed to be 3 times longer than what it was.
Well, you used all my dental floss.
Did I really?
Yeah, it's empty.
Oh my god.
So we didn't have enough.
I guess we need to put that on our list, our Walmart list. Anyway,
yeah.
That's for later.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Although we would welcome it.
Walmart?
No, not Walmart.
Dental floss.
Dental floss.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd welcome it.
Dental dams. Either one would be fun.
Oh my god.
No.
So we tried the hack, how it was actually supposed to be done, and if only it wasn't for like how much like we had more dental floss, it would have worked.
We needed more.
We needed so much more because it would have worked, but unfortunately with that, you and I almost like we fucked up too because we didn't have enough. But it pulled your ring off almost to the most swollen part of your finger, and it almost got stuck there.
Yeah, I couldn't bring it back down.
Yeah.
So it was just like, ugh. It was
like
like stuck in the middle of my
most
finger.
swollen part of your finger.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, fuck, you're going to have to
So we had just enough to make it worse, basically.
Yeah, make it a lot worse. We thought you were going to have to go in the middle of the night.
So, but I guess the engineering, and I'm no engineer, behind the correct way to do the dental floss was you put a piece of dental floss underneath the ring and put some past your finger, and then you start wrapping it around your finger tightly, like really close to it, and then when you get it all the way, it's supposed to be all the way at the end of your finger, that didn't happen. You start unwinding it from the piece that's behind.
The one that you threaded through the
right, and that unwinds it, unravels it, and the ring travels with it. And so it worked to the point where it got to the most swollen point in my finger, and we didn't have enough dental floss to go past that.
Yeah.
Now I don't have any floss.
That's the end of our story. Thank you for no. Yeah, and we were freaked out because when it got stuck, I was like immediately like, "Oh my god, you go to the hospital right now!" Like, dude, and eventually you were able to push it back down, just barely. But then the fucked up part is the other side, closer to your bigger knuckle, started swelling too. So the whole finger started swelling. It wasn't just like the one part that you had. Both parts were starting to swell.
Yeah.
And not just swell, it started to hurt.
Well, it hurt more.
It hurt a lot more than it was earlier. Mm-hmm. And really, we should have stopped fucking with it. Mm-hmm. And I was telling you, like, go to the emergency room tomorrow. Like, just don't fuck around with it because, you know, if we mess around anymore with it, it could be a real problem. Mm-hmm. Like, it could be really bad for you. But also, if you don't go, I mean, you have nerves in there. Like, you could end up literally losing your finger. I told
damage.
you.
Yeah, or just losing my finger. Or they'd have to cut into my finger to take it off.
Yeah.
I didn't want that
at all. Like, ugh. So I told you just to go. Because we were also thinking, let's go to a jeweler. Because if we go to a jeweler, maybe they'll know how to handle it. Like, they'll know what to do more.
Yeah.
But this happened on Saturday night, so it was going to be Sunday, and I was like, no jeweler is going to be open. And as I was, like, looking one up, most weren't even open until Tuesday.
Right.
You know, and we have, no idea if they're going to be able to help us or not. Plus, like, someone needed to look at your finger, make sure, like, there wasn't something else going on. And, yeah, I told you just to go. Mm-hmm. And you fought me on it.
I didn't want to go, yeah. I was like, come on. It's fucking, I can go Monday or Tuesday or whatever and just get it cut off. What really was like, yeah, I should definitely go was even the next day. So Sunday morning, the swelling didn't really go down. No. And I was like, shit. Yeah, I should just go.
Like, it got a little better, but no, it did not go away. And again, I had a terrible feeling that the more and more we just let it go and didn't do anything about it, the worse it would have gotten.
Right. So I went. That's what I did.
Yeah, and you went alone because we were like, well, first of all, it takes me a while to get going and, get ready and get out of the house. So I was like, I don't want to, like, if you're considering going to the emergency room, you should go as promptly as possible. So I didn't want to take up time that you needed to go. Mm-hmm. And I also didn't want to be another burden to the emergency room. And
because especially in these times,
right?
Like,
especially
what are they
with COVID,
do with you?
like
like
I'll obviously wear my mask, and I do every time I go outside or go into public, but I didn't want to just take up space. Yeah. And all of that. So you went by yourself. You went alone. Thankfully, the hospital is literally like a block away from us.
Not even a block.
Yeah, half a block. It's down the street. Could walk to it if we needed to.
I could have walked if I,
Yeah,
it would have been.
And I told you that as you left.
Walk,
I was like, if you need me there, let me know, because I had no idea what they were going to do to you. But the nervousness, too, kind of came from, like, we were like, do they actually do this thing? Because we've only ever, like, heard about it, or maybe it's like a thing in a TV show that they cut things off of people. Right. And we were like talking about it. We were like, no, like I think they do this. Like, come on, like how many people have like gotten a ring stuck on their finger or other
places?
Yeah, and I was like, come on, like at least you're not the weird dude coming in because he got something stuck on his penis.
Yeah,
like
that's true. I mean, that's something.
Like,
right?
Or at least you don't have a sex toy like in your butt or something. Like,
right.
that they have to like fish out.
Or other things in my butt that, like sex toy. I mean,
right, gerbil.
At least it's a sex toy, but right, things that shouldn't be in my butt. You know what I mean? Light bulbs, gerbil.
Right, stuffed animal. I don't.
Anything. I'm sure
no idea.
Anything and everything you can think of has been attempted to stick up a butt.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, at least you're not that weird person. I'm sure they get this a lot, and we don't really have another choice, and it's not like we could even go to urgent care, which is obviously less than an emergency room. But they're actually really nice to you.
Yeah, it was fine. I got in and out
quick.
really quickly. They're being really safe. Of course they should. They're a hospital. And I was safe as well. I had my mask and all that. And it was in and out pretty quickly. I mean, it took them a while to get the ring off of my finger. It took a little bit.
Yeah.
They had to call 2 different people in to get it off of my finger. And they're just like grinding on it, just like with the tool.
So what did they use?
It was like a grinder, like I just said. Like it's a weird like metal thing. It's like a clamp. It hooks underneath the ring, and then you squeeze down on it with your hand and you twist, like kind of like a can opener, and it just like grind.
God.
It just like grinds on the ring.
Yeah.
Until it opens, until it cuts.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. So 2 different people had to do that. They got one side cut open, but it still wouldn't come off.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to pry it open a little bit, but they couldn't, because it was still whole, and they couldn't bend it. It's silver, so they couldn't. It was hard to cut through, and then it was also hard to bend.
Yeah.
So they had to like flip it around and then do it a little bit on the other side too, so they could bend it.
Yeah.
So it was like double, and then it finally came off, and my finger was all fucked up.
It
looked
was
so
weird.
fucked up.
And like right before you went in, I mentioned, I was like, I don't even know if the ring is real silver. So when we got married and we bought our rings, we were trying to decide, what I want my engagement ring to be, what I want my wedding band to be, what we're going to get for you. Is yours going to match mine completely? And so we decided to go with Etsy because Etsy has a lot of like beautiful handmade jewelry, and I'm not a diamond person. So we went on there, and sometimes, every once in a while, people are not truthful and they give you fake material. And so I almost didn't think it was real silver. But when you started telling me how much it took them, and that like 2 different people had to like come in to help you, like another nurse that was a man had to come in and help because he might be stronger, it was like, okay, it might be real silver.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a woman nurse helping me at first, and then she's like, I'm going to go get so-and-so because, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, huh? And then he came in and he did it, and then he was doing it. He's like, what's this ring made out of?
He's like, we think it's silver.
Silver, I guess. Apparently. A real silver, too. Good news is if we need to, we can always melt it down and kill a werewolf.
Oh, that's true. We can make a silver bullet.
Yeah.
And we can use...
So that's the good news.
We might be able to use my rings, too.
And that's been the Last Word podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for all for listening.
We're going to start a werewolf killing business.
But, yeah, so it took a while for them to get it off, and it hurt because, of course, my finger's swollen, obviously, and they're pressing on it and using the tool on it, but it finally came off, and it was kind of sad. At first, I was like, like, no big deal, and then I was, like, looking at it, and it was off, and I don't have it. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Well, you sent me pictures,
does kind of suck.
and you were covered in, like, the silver dust from or silver flakes from them cutting it off, and your finger looked bad.
Yeah,
like it was
up.
red and swollen, and you had like a little bit of like, not a rash, but you had like red spots, like
and I was
like
bleeding
on top and
underneath. I was bleeding.
Right.
So, yeah, there were some spots. It did not.
Your
look
finger
good.
looked terrible, and again, I am just so thankful that like you went in and you got it taken care of, you got it looked at, you got someone to see you, because it looked bad when it was taken off.
It did.
Yeah, it was terrible.
But since then it's been healing. It looks a lot better. There's still an indent as far as like where a ring was, obviously. But it's not swollen or gross or anything like that, so that's good. I think
that's normal. The indentation is normal. People talk about it like after they get divorced and they take their wedding rings off, that indent may be there for years.
Dang.
Yeah. It's crazy because we never thought, and I don't know why we didn't think about it, but we just it never came into mind that, hey, you're going to have to get your wedding ring cut off at some point. But it's crazy because your dad has had to cut off his rings before.
Yeah, it's happened to my dad. So.
Right, and you guys must just have the same anatomy as far as, your hands go.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's had to cut a ring off, and we were talking to your parents yesterday, and we told them the whole story of what happened, and your dad was like, oh yeah, like I had to go and I took some kind of tool and I just cut it off. I thought he went to the emergency room.
No.
Like when he first told us,
Apparently
I thought he
not.
went to the emergency room to get this done. No, he just cut it off with some tool.
I thought he did too, but when I learned that he did it himself, I was like, oh no, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Like, why did I think he would go to the emergency room for that, or
Yeah.
the doctor, or wherever he would have went for that? Like, of course he cut it off himself.
Yeah. And then I was thinking about it, if we had some kind of tool like that laying around, or if we had a, bigger toolbox or something, you probably would have done the same thing.
I would have tried, absolutely.
And you would have, made me try. And
Yeah, it's true.
and it would have been a completely different story. This would have been the podcast of how Jay loses a finger.
Yeah.
But
but it's not.
we didn't do that. You went to the emergency room.
Yeah, so part of the moral of the story is if you're feeling something, especially pain, something's hurting, and it's not normal, go to the doctor, go urgent care.
Well,
go
okay,
to
first
the
of all,
emergency
tell your
room.
partner.
Say some. Well, that's assuming they have a partner.
Oh, well,
Come on.
tell a significant other.
Take care of it yourself and go. And you can tell someone if you need to, whoever you need to tell, but don't ignore it, obviously. Especially if something, even if it doesn't hurt, but it's not coming off of your body
Right.
for over a year and a half, maybe you should see if it can come off. Because if I would have done that when this was happening, I'd probably still be able to wear it, and that would have never happened. Like if I would have taken it off regularly or whatever.
Oh yeah,
it'd
that
be
was
fine.
another thing that we
But,
kind of disagreed on.
You told me to never take it off.
Hey, your mom agreed with me.
Yeah. Well, that was stupid because that's what led to this. You're like,
Well, okay,
no, stop taking off your ring, because I would take it off when I'd shower and stuff like that, and I could lose it, yeah, or sometimes it, putting it back on, I'd have to push it, back on, and
Yeah.
you thought that it would just be easier, just don't take it off.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was thinking of. I was like, you know what? The friction seems bad to keep taking it on and off, especially if you're starting to have problems with it or whatever. We might have to get you a bigger ring, whatever. That's what I was thinking. That was my logic behind it. And yeah, you just should have taken it off and we should have figured it out.
I should have taken it off normally,
Yeah.
and then just let it be like that, because not taking it off is what led to this, but also, in my head, I was like, well, I can't take it off physically, but I'm not. Rachel told me to not take it off anyway, so whatever. So I'm fine, because I was told to not take it off anyway, so it's fine. So it can't come off, so I can't take it off, so I'm good.
Right.
Yeah. Not
But
not
also,
the best way to think about
you
it.
should have told me, because think about it. Back then, a year and a half ago, it would have been so much easier to seek out different options of getting it taken off.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a chance that we can save the ring itself and we can get it resized and make it look like it brand new. But we have to kind of wait to do that.
Yeah.
And it still is cut. I mean, you can see it's fully cut in one place, and the other place is kind of like a little hinge. So it's not fully cut in two, but you can see it. It's so we might be able to salvage the ring. We don't know yet.
Yeah, I think we will,
But I think
we'll
that
see.
kind of transitions us into our next topic
Segue.
of what we're gonna do.
What a segue.
Yeah.
Good job. Kind of.
I'm a professional podcaster. No.
No. We are not. We are not.
Oh yeah, our friend Taco said he wanted more guttural sex noises.
Oh yeah.
No, we're not.
No. There you go.
We're never gonna get sponsored, ever. Or we're gonna get sponsored by Adam and Eve's.
What's that?
It's an adult store online adult store.
What's an adult store?
Oh my god. Shut up. Shut up. I've never shopped there.
Sponsors, if you're looking for a place to get your name out, right here.
Last Word Pod.
Last Word Podcast.
But no, this brings
we have
us
listeners
to our...
in France.
That's wonderful. Okay. But that brings us to, our next topic, because we haven't really had to think about it or talk about it, but it's definitely been on our minds. Like, once we became polyamorous, we were wondering, like, what do we do with our wedding rings? What...
Yeah, it was, because it's, like, weird, because it's, like, well, obviously we're married.
Yeah.
And in some way, and I really didn't care before, but in some way, I guess it is important to show, in some way, like the unity of it all.
Yeah.
But when you're polyamorous, how do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you do that? Do you just not wear rings, period? Do you have rings for each person? Does everyone have a ring, like,
right,
or like the same ring or something like that? How does that work? I guess that was the question.
Yeah. When I was still with my ex, we all talked about getting rings for each other. So you and I would wear 2, and each of our partners would wear 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we would do it. And of course, like, that didn't end up working out, so no rings. And you and I were talking that, oh, well, yeah, do we need our rings?
Like, should we
at
even
all?
wear
And for me, like,
rings?
I have never worn jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, up until like the point of our wedding, I've never worn rings, and I thought rings were just, they got in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And since I'm an artist and painting and sewing all the time, it's like, how am I supposed to wear rings and do all this stuff? So I wasn't opposed to a wedding ring, and back then when we first got married, we were really, like, traditional, kind of.
Kind of.
Not really. So I was like, okay, well, I gotta wear the wedding ring. I was thinking about your parents. I was thinking about mine. Like, we gotta wear the wedding rings.
Right.
So that's why we got them, and that's why we wear them. But we were also, even in that, we were thinking of alternatives. We were already thinking about tattoos. We were already thinking about,
other ways.
jewelry, like different necklaces or a bracelet maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So when we became polyamorous, that conversation came up again. Even after, my breakup, we thought about it again. And now we're really thinking about what we want to do.
Yeah, because literally now I don't have a ring.
Right, and I'm still wearing mine.
I don't know.
But the symbol for me was really important, and it still is.
For me, it is and it's not, because like for me, it's like, there's plenty of people wearing wedding rings that fucking hate each other. So it's like
or it doesn't mean anything.
Right, or it's a way to show, I don't know, to show off or something like that, or status, or who knows what, you know what I mean? Like, especially like you got a diamond, blah blah blah. Like, so I don't know really what it means, or like how important it is. Like, cause like what's important to me is like the relationship, you know what I mean?
Right,
and the strength in that.
Right, no one knows that except the people who are in it.
Right, and like who gives a shit about a ring? If like nothing else is great, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in some way, but I didn't really realize it until I don't have it anymore. Where in some way I was like, oh, it is kind of sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it is kind of sad because, like I said earlier, like it's more about, it's not for me, I guess, and hopefully for other people, it's not about status or wealth or like ownership or anything like that. It's like, it's a unity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's showing belonging not in the sense of, again, ownership, but in the sense of like you have a place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like we've made this
like
choice.
It's together.
Yeah, we want to show it off. We want to show our unity. It's just in society today, and I guess for 100 years or so, I don't know when wedding rings became popular. That's the unified way, like, to show that you're committed to someone, that you've made that commitment. But we've been thinking about alternatives.
Yeah. Well, yeah, part of me is just like, I could probably still be okay with just not wearing a ring. I think part of me is fine with that. 'Cause in the end, again, the important things are like, the important things.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, what's going on in
love
our
and
relationship.
communication and actual support and stuff like that. That's really important.
Yeah.
So I'd probably be fine without wearing a ring. But would I be fine wearing one too? Yeah, but how do we do that?
Yeah.
Do we wait
Well, we
until,
literally just talked about how...
Do we wait until there's partners involved?
Right, and do it all over
mm-hmm.
again. Well, we literally just talked about the ring still might be salvageable. So
Yeah.
we still might be able to get that redone. And we might anyway, just to have it. But then we were like, yeah, so do we, wait? I might, if my next partner wants to have that commitment with me, I might just stack my, my wedding bands, and you might just get a new ring and
mm-hmm.
stack it with, a partner that wants to do that with you. And yeah, but then I was like, well, yeah, so maybe I can just buy you a new wedding ring,
mm-hmm.
buy you a new wedding band, end of an era, new beginning, something like that. And, buy you a new wedding band, you pick it yourself, and, all of that stuff. But then we were also like, well, okay, so what about tattoos? Because we're a very non-traditional couple in that sense. So what kind of tattoo would we get? Would we tattoo a ring? But then in the very, very, very slim chance, microscopic chance that you and I were to get divorced, what would that mean for us later?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we also thought about other jewelry, too. We were like, well, what about, a necklace or something? What about a bracelet? Because that would mean just as much to us as, rings would.
Right.
So those are some of the things that we're thinking. I am kind of, I would be kind of excited to design a tattoo. That would still symbolize, a wedding, band or something. That would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not opposed to, bracelets or something either.
Yeah, at this point, I'm not sure. I guess at this point we'll see. We'll just see. Because I'm good with it. I'm good without it. You know what I mean? Whether it's an actual ring or a tattoo or a bracelet or whatever it is, I'm fine with all of those. But I'm also fine if there's not those two. So I guess we'll see. I mean, it's just a weird conversation you never really think you're going to have. And then you have it. And then you're like, huh, wait, that is a thing that does pertain to not only marriage, but at this point for us specifically, being polyamorous. And, I never thought I'd not wear my ring. I never thought, in some way it's weird because it's I never thought I needed it. But, I also never thought I wasn't going to have it.
Yeah, now that you don't have it, you're thinking about it more. It's weird,
yeah. And I never thought if I wasn't going to wear it, it was going to be, it was going to come off the way it did.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We would never have thought that. We were we had a busy week. There's just things that kept happening, and maybe now it was busy. It wasn't busy so much. It was just kind of draining.
Right.
And that Saturday night, we're like, oh, good, we can finally chill and just relax and watch TV and movies and stuff like that. And then you end up having to go to the emergency room.
Yeah. 2020.
Yeah. That's just one thing after the other. But either way, we are going to wait for your finger to completely heal and the indent to go back to relatively normal.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to worry about it for now because that might be a while. It might still even be a year or so.
Given everything anyway, it's going to be longer.
Yeah.
So just so either way, there's going to be
so we have time. We have time to talk about it. We have time to decide, and we can even just do our own things with it. We don't have to both do the same thing to show our commitment to each other.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a interesting, I guess, subject or thing I never really thought about it at all. And I'd be interested to know what other people thought. Do you guys think, you guys listening, do you think are wedding rings necessary? What do they mean, or not at all? Do you want one? Do you not want one? Why?
Yeah.
Let us know. Because I'm genuinely interested. Because it was something I thought about, but also something I never worried about.
Yeah.
Be good to know. So that was part of the excitement, and we've had not a lot of it, but it's been in and out. like up and down, you know.
Well, I'm glad we still have stuff to talk about. I mean, I know we're going, what is it, every 2 weeks?
Yeah. Well,
so it's like we try to...
weeks, every other week.
Every other week. Whatever. However you guys want to say that and it makes sense to you, say it. We're only posting a podcast 2 times a month. Just until we get more into a routine. Even this is kind of slightly failing since we're, again, recording on Monday afternoon. Or no. Yeah,
morning.
Monday afternoon. Morning, kind of.
It's 11. It's
morning. It's almost noon. So it's almost going to be afternoon.
No.
Almost. Anyway. I don't give a shit. What was I talking about?
I don't know. You just went on this rant.
Oh, yeah. We're glad to have stuff to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah.
Not that we were so excited to go to the emergency room. I mean, we don't even know how our insurance is going to handle that, if they're going to think it's a medical thing
Might
or
have to
not.
pay for it.
Hopefully it shouldn't be too much. They didn't have to take any blood or labs or anything like that, so hopefully.
Yeah.
Even if they do charge, hopefully it won't be too much. But it's good to have more things to talk about and, you know, again, get together at the table and record our podcast like we do.
Yeah. Because there's been a lot of downtime too, obviously. I think that's mostly what people are going through is downtime. Which gives us time to do other things. We've been watching a lot of movies.
Like every night.
Yeah. Sometimes 2 movies in one night or more. It's a lot of movies. But then that brought us to, like, what are your favorite movies? Which is a really hard thing to list or to decide, but it's possible.
Yeah.
So
when we came back to the podcast, we took, like, that 2.5-month break. We were like, oh, we're going to throw in some fun stuff, especially if we don't have a lot to talk about. And one of my ideas was top 5 favorite movies. Now, this can be ever-changing as more and more movies will eventually come out in our lifetime. Mm-hmm. Or you discover one that you haven't seen before. But for the most part, it's like I have, a short list of like 5 go-to movies that, like, no matter what, these are always like favorites. Like, I never want to stop watching them. I could watch them probably over and over again, and a lot of them I have. So I'm gonna go through my list. And should I just list them all at once and then we can talk about each one, or should I list one, talk about it, and then list one, talk about it?
List them all, and then we'll talk about each one.
So, my top 5 favorite movies. Now, these are not really in an order.
No specific order, liable to change.
Yes. Cry Baby by John Waters, starring Johnny Depp. The Lion King, The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Wait, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so 3, The Nightmare Before Christmas, 4, Halloween Town, and 5, The Notebook. I have some honorable mentions, but we don't have to. We can go through that after my list.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll talk about each one?
Yeah.
So, Crybaby,
Number 1. Crybaby. Jesus.
I'm terrible.
You know how a list works, right?
No.
You know there's numbers involved,
no, I've never...
and you need to say that number before you... Okay.
No,
Number 1,
I have
Crybaby.
no idea how
I gotta do it in my announcer voice.
Oh my god.
Number 1, Crybaby.
I have no idea how numbers work.
Come on.
Okay, so this movie, like, I think I saw it on Tumblr or something. Like, I started seeing GIFs of it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I kind of had an obsession with Johnny Depp. And that's what started it. Or, like, I was already getting into it. But I was like,
what intrigued you.
Right, to, like, keep looking and keep, checking out more of his movies. But the movie, it was just, like... the gifts that I saw, and I was like, oh my god, like, this looks amazing. Like, this looks terribly, like, ridiculous, amazing. Like, I'm intrigued. I want to watch it. Mm-hmm. And I started, like, Googling it, and then I found a version. It was like a pirated thing. I found it online, and it was the short version. So it was a really, and the quality of it wasn't great because I watched it online. Yep. But I watched it and I just could not stop laughing and thinking, like, oh my god, like, just when you think that this movie is normal or gonna go in a more normal direction, it changes. Mm-hmm. And it's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, so for those who don't know, Crybaby, directed by the infamous John Waters.
And I love John Waters.
He's an amazing director in person, very interesting. It's just, like you said, starring Johnny Depp. Takes place, 1950s?
I think so.
1950s, Greaser. Baltimore, Maryland. Greaser, like the whole thing. But in Baltimore, they were called drapes.
Yes.
But they're basically greasers. And then it just follows. It's just a ridiculous, like, love story, musical. A lot of music in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's weird. It's a weird movie because every time you're like into it and you're like getting into it and you're like, okay, yeah, and you're following along, and then purposefully something fucking weird is just thrown in, and it just throws you out completely, and you're like, what the fuck am I watching?
Right? Like, what happened? Why?
It's just perfect. It's the perfect kind of, like, bad. It's not even a bad movie, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's parts that are, like, ridiculous. Like,
right.
Effects are stupid. The acting can be really ridiculous. The characters are ridiculous. Like, the makeup, everything. It's just like, what the fuck am I watching? But you keep watching it.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's a good
And I remember
movie.
trying to get you to watch it before you actually watched
and
it.
And the thing is
like,
I don't...
years ago.
And I don't remember this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think you said at one point that it was on Netflix.
It
and
was.
That's where you tried to get me to watch it.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to. I don't know. And what I've come to find is I need to really come to things on my own.
Or just trust someone that they know you and that you might
can't.
like.
No, I can't trust anybody.
You know, that, hey, maybe your husband might know what you like and says when something's funny. It may actually be
after
funny.
like 8 years together, I mean, back then.
It was only like 3 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. Like,
anyway,
you
after
me.
so many years together, it's like, yeah, I could have trusted you about this movie. Yeah, and then it started a love for John Waters too, who he's just he's a great person, and when he talks and a lot of the things that he says is just like, I take it to heart. So I absolutely love him.
Yeah, I agree. Wonderful movie, wonderful director, great cast.
And he liked in all of his movies, he liked using the same people,
which is cool.
Yeah. Because then we watched Hairspray, of course. Like, we had to after that. And I love that one, too. It's just not my favorite, but, I mean, it would be in there. Honorable mention.
Right.
Yeah, great movie. Watch it.
Watch Crybaby.
Yeah.
This is Rachel's list, so you have to watch these movies.
Yeah. All right, so number 2. See, there I did it this time. The Lion King. Everyone knows The Lion King? No?
Never heard of it.
Oh my god. I hate you. Well, no, okay, so, I mean, you know, there's Lion Pride. Yeah. Pride Rock.
I think everyone knows The Lion King. That's a joke. You don't have to describe The Lion King.
You were
there's
serious.
No way no one, like, I mean, there's, like, a 1% chance. There's that one person who doesn't know what The Lion King is, but everyone at this point knows what The Lion King is.
So, of course, like, I watched The Lion King when I was really little, and I was, like, obsessed with it. I had a whole thing about animals, and I had a whole thing about, like, lions and, like, tigers and elephants and all that stuff. But I don't know really why, like, The Lion King, like, got me, like, and stuck with me so much. But, I mean, it did. You know, I love the story. I love how sad it was, even as a kid. Like, I felt that shit. Like, when I was little, when I was, like, I don't remember how old I was. I'm probably, like, 6 or something.
For a lot of kids, especially our age, that's, like...
It's, like, their first...
Top five traumatizing moments in movies.
That and The Land Before Time.
Land Before Time,
which also should be an honorable mention, because now that one fucking wrecked me as a child.
Yeah.
So...
and then Lion King, yes.
But then also, or no, maybe I was a lot younger than 6, but also, and this is a cute little fact about me, when I was like 3 or 4, my parents got me a stuffed animal Simba for Christmas. And for the longest time, and I have no idea where this tape is now, they had it on video, like showing me getting it. And I was so little, and I had this little Simba toy, but I took him everywhere after that. Like, there was, like, no place. Like, I think if I would have been old enough, I probably would have dragged him to school. Mm. But I also, like, I remember losing him at one point and freaking out. Just, like, this is my whole life. As, like, a 5-year-old, this is my whole life, is this, like, stupid stuffed, like, Simba. Mm-hmm. I took him to my grandpa's house one time, too, and he was painting the outside of his house, like a burnt, like, orange color. Mm-hmm. And I remember spilling paint on him. Like, and I was still pretty young, and I just barely remember that. It's just kind of a blurry image. But I remember, like, getting paint on him. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you look, he still has that paint today.
Yeah, of course.
So this ratty thing, I mean, it's missing an eye. There was one time where I was like, okay, I'm finally going to get rid of some of my stuffed animals, and I'm going to let go of the Simba. It's like, I'm, like, probably, like, 10 or so, and, like, I'm going to get rid of him. And so I let my dog take him. And, of course, like, the dog was perfectly happy taking him. But the moment, like, I saw the stuffed animal, like, after, I was like, oh, my God, no! And, like, he's missing an eye. Like, he doesn't have an eye anymore. Mm-hmm. The other eye is all chewed up and fucked up. Like, pretty sure, like, part of the ear is falling off. And the back ended up ripping open, and I've sewn that thing, like, 5 times.
The
There's
betrayal.
Stuffing.
The betrayal. How could you?
Right?
Could you?
Well, I was like, I don't need him anymore. He's not my support blanket. Like, I'm a big girl. Like, I can't. And I was just like, no, I can't. So I saved him from the dog, and actually, I still have him today. Mm-hmm. Like, he still barely survives, but I do still have him, and, you know, I could not imagine, like, ever, like, getting rid of him now.
Yeah.
Like, he is so gross. He is dirty. I'm pretty sure if I tried to wash him, he would just, like, disintegrate into fiber.
So you don't know really why the movie itself, though, got you? Mm-hmm.
But this Simba's stuffed animal, man.
So it's So it's a top movie because of the memories with it, mm-hmm. versus, like...
Oh, yeah. Like, me and one of my childhood friends, we would...
Which it is. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, we would pretend to be, like, lions and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like, and, like...
So it just got you.
It just got me. And
no other explanation.
Maybe it was because, like, one of the first movies, like, I really remember as a child. Because mm-hmm. I think it came out in, like, 92?
No idea.
I wasn't even born then, technically.
I don't know when it came out.
But,
I have no idea.
I mean, it came out very early 90s, so mm-hmm. I couldn't have been, like, that old. But, so I think it was one of the first movies that, like, I really remember and was really emotional. Oh, my mom used to also, she made up a Simba story, too, when I was a kid, and she used to tell me every Christmas Eve, because I was too excited, and I always wanted to open Christmas presents, and so she would, like, she made up this story about Simba, and I don't remember it, like, completely now, but how something like Simba needs to be, like,
patient,
yeah,
and not open his presents or
something like that. I know. And it was ridiculous, and even then it's like, how does my mom know this? How does my mom know Simba?
Wow.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Movie wise, it is a good movie. Mm-hmm. Got great music, obviously. Disney, Elton John, amazing. That whole animation era for Disney is really good too. And yeah, it was just good for kids. It's like the perfect movie.
Yeah.
Nothing else to it.
No, I mean, except Scar's an asshole.
Well, you need a villain.
No.
You don't need a villain. They could have been a whole movie of just everyone being happy. Why can't that exist?
I mean, watching the movie as an adult, there was definitely a lot of things that I didn't understand that I do now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I love that there's, like, some slight adult humor in Disney movies, or, mm-hmm. like, certain movies like that, which I guess there kind of has to be, because, I mean, who are the majority of people that are going to be watching this? Well, probably little kids. But who's going to be taking them to watch it? Yeah. Who is going to have to sit on the couch and watch it with them? So there needs to be, like, a few little things in there that, you know, make it really funny. That now I'm just like, oh my God, like, how did that go right over my head?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's true. And so it gives it, you know, rewatchability, where you can watch it.
Yeah, I still watch it now.
Notice things you didn't notice, or understand jokes that you didn't get before.
Zazu.
Mm-hmm. Zazu.
I love him.
Just
He's great.
Zazu.
I always wanted a weird little
bird following you around.
bird following me around, a little advisor.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I also apparently wanted to be a lion, so.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. All right. So number 3, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Tim Burton. But
Another
who is it
unheard of movie.
Oh yeah, nobody, absolutely nobody knows about this. But who is it directed by actually? Because Tim Burton.
Henry Selick.
Yeah, because Tim Burton wrote it, but he did not direct it because he was busy
He wrote
directing
it and
other
probably
movies.
produced it, but he did not.
Yeah, and he had a lot of
it.
like creative consultation on the movie itself, but he did not direct it. And I don't know if a lot of people actually know that.
It was Henry Selick, who also Henry Selick specifically ended up doing like movies like Coraline and stuff like that. Tim Burton did not do Coraline, just so everyone knows.
Right, which again, most people might not know. But now, so I got on the Nightmare Before Christmas train, fad, whatever you want to call it, kind of late. Because I went through all of high school, I would meet people that would, were in my crew or in my group or in my, style. And they'd be like, do you like The Nightmare Before Christmas? I'm like, yeah, sure, never seen it. But they would, be wearing like Sally stuff. And I remember this one girl, she was all like gothy. She made like a clay head of Jack. And I don't remember if it was like a piggy bank or something, but I just thought it was like the coolest thing. But I did not end up watching it until much, much later. In fact, you and I'm pretty sure had already been like married.
That's when you first saw it.
That's when we watched it.
Wow.
That's when I watched The Nightmare Before Christmas. And, the thing of it is like it, as a child, like, it kind of scared me. Like, when I would see parts of it, or I'd see pieces, or I'd see a character, like, that's scary. I don't know if I'd be into that at all. Like, and then the concept was like, well, they're all dead. It's just, it seemed really weird. And I had no idea if I would be into it, but I think you suggested it. Like, let's watch it. Like, let's see it. Yeah, and I fucking fell in love with it. Like, the moment that I saw it, it just, like, the singing, the creatures, like, all of the weird people, and every time, like, we see something new, like the little mouse with the hat, like the mayor, how he's all weird, and like
nails painted.
Yeah, he has his fingernails painted. It's just like every time, and when we got the Blu-ray version, we really noticed a lot of things. Really started noticing these things. I went as Sally from the movie a couple of times for like Halloween. I have a Sally dress that I made myself. Yeah,
handmade. Looks great. Looks professional. You can sell that thing for $60.
Right? Maybe I should start doing that. So yeah, I don't know. And it's the creepiness of it. How it looks kind of like goth. And I understand why goth culture really like took that over and why it's so popular today. And how like almost every Christmas gift we get your brother and his girlfriend is Nightmare Before Christmas themed because they love it too. Right. So yeah, I don't know, like, what else can I say about it? What else can you say about it?
It's a good movie. The first time I watched it, I was little, and it scared the shit out of me. Yeah. I was scared. I was like, nope. Why the fuck am I watching this shit? But then I saw it when I got older, and it was I liked it a lot. It was good again. It just has the perfect combination of Halloween and Christmas, obviously. I would say it's both, but it's more of a Christmas movie than a Halloween movie. And it has the look, it has the music, everything. And it, obviously when it first came out, it didn't do well at all. No. At all. It didn't, it started getting popular again when the kids who grew up with it got back into it and they were like teenagers. Yeah. So I was in that whole the renewal of it where I was like, this is cool again, and then all the teenagers liked it, and then Hot Topic started selling it, and then it was like a thing now, so much to the point now where it gets released on Blu-ray, and Disneyland embraces it now. They never used to. Disney never used to embrace Nightmare Before Christmas. It was like the bastard child. Yeah. I mean, it was not a good thing. But now, like, they they do Mickey's Not So Scary, and Nightmare Before Christmas is in the Haunted Mansion, and like it's like in the parade. And I think last year like Jack Skellington was the host of the fireworks show and shit like that, and they do it through October and November, December, because it's Halloween and Christmas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like now they really embrace it because it's making them money. And so, and it's everywhere now. You cannot get away from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
But I think that's a testament to its how good it is. Yeah, great music. Mostly the music is great, and it looks awesome.
Yeah. Who's your favorite character?
Probably the little kid, with his eyes sewn shut. And he's on the little leash, and he like rolls
the
around.
bigger
little chubby
little boy.
Yeah.
Aww.
And his eyes are sewn shut.
There goes Christmas. Yeah.
It's probably him.
Aww. That's adorable. I mean, I think my favorite character is probably Sally.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
I love her. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, number 4, Halloween Town.
Nice.
So now Halloween Town might be one of those that maybe more people don't know about.
Right.
But I first watched it, and it was a long time ago, and I watched it. Like my mom. I think my mom and I were staying at a hotel, and it just happened to be on, and I was like, "Oh my god, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
This looks so interesting." But it was one of those Disney Channel movies, right?
Yeah, it's a Disney Channel original movie, which just means a straight to TV movie.
Yeah.
Specifically on the Disney Channel. Disney Channel had one, I think every month. I don't think it was every week. That would be crazy. I think every month, and it would show on like Friday night or Saturday night. And
Yeah.
Like on this date, like all the time. Like
Yeah.
it was something you, as a kid, like to look forward to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I first saw it, I was like, what is this? And it's not the greatest movie ever. You know, the acting is still weird, characters are kind of weird, like, but for some reason it stuck with me because I've always loved Halloween. And from our previous like Halloween podcasts, Halloween was my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I lived for, Halloween night. So to watch a movie that perfectly, like, encapsulated that, the monsters, the makeup, the creatures, the witch,
Mm-hmm.
and how she, like, she was, like, 13, and I was probably, like, 10 or so.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm gonna be
That's
13.
gonna be me. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's, like, rebelling against her mom, and she was, like...
Mm-hmm.
Being sarcastic with her mom, and I was like, oh my god, that's me.
Yeah.
That's who I am. That's what, like, grabbed me.
Yeah.
And then the costumes, it's like I wanted to, design costumes just like hers. And I wanted to live in Halloween Town. I
Absolutely.
wish I could have been transported to it. But that's why I fell in love with it. And that's why still today, even again, like, well, The Lion King is a children's movie, and this kind of is too, we still have to watch it.
Yeah. I need to watch it at least 3 times in that time, at least.
The crazy thing is we're going to be starting that soon.
Next month?
Yeah. Just a few weeks.
August is here, and it's leaving.
Yeah.
Sorry, people.
Oh, man.
What a fucking year.
Fucking summer went so fast. Okay, so number
Wait,
5.
I need to talk about Halloween Town.
Talk
Come
about
on.
Halloween Town.
God, dude.
Talk about Halloween Town.
you just do. I like Halloween Town too. It's for me. It was the same. I think I saw it when it actually came out on TV, probably.
Oh, really?
And it was the same thing. Like you're mesmerized by it. Like it just takes you in as a kid, and maybe as a kid at heart as well. Like it just like you can watch it for the first time when you're 30, and if you like Halloween and stuff like that, you're just in. You know what I mean? Because it does not have the best acting. It does not have the best anything.
Yeah.
Effects or any of that, but that also adds to the charm. You know what I mean? And it's just enjoyable, all around, just fun, enjoyable, innocent, just great. And as a kid, it was yeah, all of this looks cool. I want to live in Halloween Town, but as an adult, I still do.
Yeah.
I
want to be transported there.
Yeah. And from a technical aspect of the movie, it was shot in a small town in Oregon. I forgot the name of it. Small town. And the way they made that small town work for what they were doing is just amazing. Like, that's fucking hard.
Yeah, and like, didn't they actually like corner off their like town square or something to put the pumpkin?
Well, that's one thing they did, but like just even like making certain buildings or certain rooms, like what they needed for the movie, it's just amazing. That's not hard.
And they used
that's not
it all.
fucking easy to do.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. And like there was no sound stages or like the budget to like build sets, so it was just like, what was this building? What do you use it as now? What can we turn it into?
Yeah.
Can we use your hair salon and just film in it for a few days? And to that respect, like, that's fucking amazing. What
and
they
that
did.
made it like authentic.
Well, it made it real.
Yeah.
It made it like Halloween Town, but that's also, again, technical aspect to the respect of like the fucking set design, I guess, and set decoration is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't just use like Halloween decorations.
No, like the amount of detail and attention to detail is just, it's amazing. Like, watch that movie just to see everything in the background, just to see how they did, like, just fucking everything. Like, whoever was the set designer and set decorator on that, like, there's so much more respect, because they made some really cool shit that you notice. Again, things you notice every time you watch it. And again, that's also, I gained a new respect for it as I got older, because I could see that stuff, and I can see where they filmed it and how they did it, and it's just like, wow, these dudes, they kicked ass. Not to mention the music. Classic song. The
like,
theme
you can
song
hear
for it,
that,
the
like,
song. Yeah, I can hear it in my brain.
Me
right
too.
Now, like, just,
me too. As soon as you said that, it just started playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like immediately, like it just starts playing. I see the school bus and the pumpkin, and
so it's great, and yeah, all of it just combined, it's really good. And then of course you have the late great, may she rest in peace, Debbie Reynolds.
Let's have a moment of silence for Debbie Reynolds.
Starring as the grandma.
Oh my god, and I love her. She's such a good actress, and I mean, obviously she was already pretty old.
Mm-hmm. Well, she was playing the grandmother.
Yeah, she was playing the grandmother. She was already really old, but she's like a classic like actress, like.
And for her to
acting
be in, like,
since like
Halloween
the 40s.
Town. Like this straight to TV Disney movie, like Halloween Town. Like, it's pretty crazy that she was in that, but she also makes the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does. It's they make you think it's Marnie and that she's the main witch, but it also has a lot to do with the grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
absolutely.
and kind of the grandmother's journey through
it,
and but of course there's plot holes, and there's more than one movie. It's a series of what, 4?
4, but we don't count the 4th.
No, because it's bullshit, because they recast Marnie.
Yeah, we don't count the 4th.
And that's dumb.
We count 1 through 3.
1 through 3.
Halloween Town, Halloween Town 2,
Halloween Town High.
And Halloween Town
Which is
High.
where they kind of dropped the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, that's where it really got goofy. Like, it was goofy already, but Halloween Town High was just like, what is happening?
It got more goofy.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But my last favorite, at least for my list, my number 5, The Notebook. And again, do you guys know about The Notebook? Do you know about it? I actually
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, The Notebook?
I actually just watched this movie with someone new, like last night, like literally. So this is all fresh in my mind, and so is the person. Anyway, so I don't remember when I watched this movie for the first. Oh, no, I do remember the first time I watched this movie. I was hanging out with friends. I was like a weird teenager. I was probably like 15, and my friends and I, we were getting drunk, and she was like, "I want to put on The Notebook. Like, I love this movie," and I was just like, "Okay, what is this about?" And we were all like drunk and stuff, and we were watching The Notebook, and I'm like watching these two people fall in love, and it's just like, it was perfect because they break up, and then like 5 years later they get back together and they get married, and then they die together.
It's more complicated than that, but that's
Well,
like
yeah,
the gist
'cause-
of
okay,
it.
so she's-
No, you don't have to go through the plot. You really don't. Please don't go through the plot of the Notebook right now.
5 hours later.
Yeah.
And I
Exactly.
recite the whole thing.
You don't have to do that. For word. You just recite the Notebook. Don't do that. We open up with a man rowing a lake
Yeah.
at sunset. Cut to
Noah, I am a common man with common thoughts. There are no monuments dedicated to me, and my name will soon be forgotten. No, anyway. I swear that I cannot quote the whole movie. It's just because it's fresh in my mind, because I watched it last night. But no, I mean, of course, like, as a teenager, I loved all that stuff. All of that stuff was important to me, and, that, she was from a different world than he was, but they tried to make it work. I mean, all of that stuff got me.
Mm-hmm.
All of that stuff was important to my little childhood brain at the time. Not childhood, my teenage brain at the time. And it's like, I wanted that. I wanted something like that. I wanted to experience this. And then it's like, I would go through a breakup, and then I'd watch it again. I remember sitting there, like, by myself, telling my friend about it. Like, oh, hey, by the way, The Notebook is on this channel if you want to watch it. And it's a beautiful movie. And then later on, I grew more, like, appreciations for it because, like, the style.
Right.
Like, so it is set, I think, in the 1940s. At least that's where it starts. And that style of dress at the time they're so beautiful. Everything about it, and, the different, like, social classes, like, that really, like, pulled me in more.
Mm-hmm.
To learn about, like, the fashion, what was common at the time, what wasn't. I eventually read the book. And the book got me too. And it was so sad. And, both of them combined, the movie and the book, really just, like, set it in. And it's definitely, like, one of my favorites. Like, I always keep going back to it.
Yeah.
Like, and watch it at any point in my life.
I definitely don't like it as much as you do. But it is a good movie. And, you don't want to give anything away because a big part about it is the ending,
Yeah.
But it would make anyone, like, it's enjoyable, I feel like, for anyone. And make anyone cry, to be honest. Like, it's a good movie, and it's a tearjerker, and it's great. It's not your typical romance and shit like that. It's all around pretty good. Just good romantic movie. And good movie in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And
I didn't see it first until, I think, with you. I never saw it my life, like, growing up, like, because I had no reason to. I felt like, you know what I mean?
Weird
but
man.
of course, I saw it with you for the first time, and it is good. It's very good.
I think it's relatable to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they do come back to each other, and they do stay together, and it's just like, two people who are meant to be together eventually can find their way back to each other. And so that was always, like, a good, like, concept for us, for, like, you and me. So it's the perfect, like, romantic movie for us.
Yep.
But I'm glad I got to share it with you. And I'm glad I got to share it with the person I did last night. What?
You said you weren't going to talk about this. You can't fucking help yourself, can you?
No, because I didn't want to keep giving people updates, because it changes quite a bit. Because it's like, she's with someone, she's not with someone, she's with someone. And it's just kind of like, well, I want to be more chill about it and not fucking announce it.
Well, that's not super chill, is it?
But we are getting...
It's going to become a meme now.
Right?
Like, it's just a joke now.
Later on, like, our fans are they're going to make a meme about this. But it's just like, it is possibly, hopefully, going to get more serious. The cool thing is that he actually lives...
In town. This just in, for all you podcast listeners, our good friend Javi says hi. Hello, Javi.
Yeah, hello, Javi. Wow. He interrupts our podcast to say hi.
That's for
dare.
you, boy.
how
Love you,
how
Avi.
fucking dare? No, that's cool. But that's my top 5, and you know I don't know if we have to go through the honorable mentions tonight.
No, I think
or
we're good.
today.
And next time you'll hear my top 5, which are a little different but very similar in certain ways.
No, Jay is just a nerd.
You're not a nerd.
No.
You're recording a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, once again, Rachel's top 5. Go watch these. Go see how you like them and let us know. Number 1, Cry Baby. Number 2, Lion King, which I'm sure you've seen. 3, Nightmare Before Christmas, which you've probably seen. Number 4, Halloween Town. And number 5, The Notebook. Watch them. Let us know what you think. As always, people, thank you for listening and thank you for joining us today. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, all the things that you need to do, whatever you can do. Please do them. We see it and we appreciate it and we love you. I love you. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of each other. We'll see you next time.
Later.